Now that you have the badge done, let's move on to, or the chevron done, let's move on to the badge. So I'm going to grab my pen tool, get rid of the fill, and the badge is basically an upside down triangle. So if you can make an upside down triangle, then you could make that badge. So let me lessen the stroke on this. I'm going to leave the corner as round. I like that softer look. So like I said, the badge is an upside down triangle. Now there's a couple of ways to do this. First, just try to visualize this as a triangle, like how I just showed you. And instead of just clicking once, you're going to click and drag so that you can have a rounded corner instead of a sharp corner. So click and drag, click and drag. And don't worry that your shape doesn't look exactly like the original, because you can go back and fix this in a bit. And close it, click and drag. Now to fix this, you're going to use either your direct selection tool. Let's see if this works. So I'm going to click on an anchor point, and that's going to show me the handles of each anchor point. So let's fix this here. Let's bring this in. And then this one, this bottom one, let's bring this out. Let's bring this in some more. Try to get as close to the original as possible. And if you can't, if there's a little bit off, then don't worry about it. So you can also, with your direct selection tool, the white arrow, you can also use it to select this line segment and move this line segment around. So sometimes that is a much better way to control it. I feel pretty happy with that one. Let's move on to this left side and drag this one right here. And then there it is. I'm pretty happy with that. Making sure this is on there. There you go. There's the badge right there. There's a little bit of gap right there, which I'll fix later. But there's my badge, and then you can add the colors if you want to. The drop is right here. You could make this with the least amount that I've found are 2 anchor points. So the first one will be up here. Click once. And then the second one will be down here. And I'm going to click and drag either to the left or to the right. And it's going to mimic this drop shape. I'll let go and then go back to the original point to close it. Now you're going to have these weird random open spots, so you can, if you want to, go back to the anchor point. And right now, because we only clicked once here, there are no handles on this first anchor point like these ones. But now that we have this convert anchor point tool or anchor point tool, we can make handles from this guy. So I'm just going to click and hold. So now you have this thing, all right? So I can click and hold. Instead of going this way, to prevent a loop, I'm going to drag it to the right. So I'm going to drag it to the right a little bit. And now I still see a little bit of issues with my shape. Then I can bring this down. Same thing with this guy. I can bring this up a little bit. And just going to grab my white arrow, click this, and I'm just going to repeat the same thing on the left hand side. On there, boom. And there is my drop. The only thing that bothers me with this is this little sharp corner right there. So I can go back and refine this later and make sure that it's really curved or there's no sharp corners, but maybe I just have to mess with these guys. And it looks like that's what I need to do. we go. That's what that is. Let's go back, convert anchor point tool. There. White arrow. Bring this in maybe. Convert anchor point tool. Bring this out. There it is. Let's bring this in a tiny bit. There. That's as close to that as I can get. And then the Zerk, I see the Zerk as a rectangle, right? So a rectangle, there's a rectangle here. Oop, that's a rounded rectangle. Similar. It's basically a rectangle with a circle, half circle on top of it. Okay, so that's pretty much the general shape of this thing. So I'm going to delete that, and basically this has 5. I've found that this has 5 anchor points, and you could start wherever you want to start. So I'm going to start right here on the very top. So I'm going to click and drag, click and drag. Creates a nice arch for me for my next guideline. I'm going to click and drag just a tiny bit to hug that top part. And because this is a straight line here, straight line there, and straight line there, I'm just going to click instead of clicking and dragging. Holding shift, click, hold shift, click, and then try to match where this one is. Hold shift and drag a tiny bit, and then go back to the original point, click and hold shift and drag it so that it hugs that curve right there, and let go of your mouse. And then there's the Zerk right there. Okay, so now you should know how to create those first 4 shapes up top.